That's a 65% collapse, and that would just be the start of things, right? And then they would try massive inflation, and yes, they could make the Dow Jones run away on paper, but in purchasing power, when you go to buy homes and gas and food and energy, etc., or gold, when you compare it to the dollar is going to be collapsing, right? Even though the stock price, look at Venezuela. If you think the stock price going up is great, Venezuela has the hottest stock market in the world by a factor of 1,000 the last 8 years. The only problem is, you'd say, Vincenzo, why don't we just turn our U.S. dollars into Bolivians, the Venezuelan currency, and buy the Venezuelan stock market, let it go up for a week, and then cash out? Well, my subscriber, that's a great question, because the one thing that starts happening when you have something like what's going on with the Bolivian and Venezuela is inflation, that their local currency is devaluing so great at, say, a factor of 100, to make it simple, a day. So they're losing 100 times purchasing power a day. Yes, the stock market's going up 85 times a day, right? But when you sell it, you're losing 100 times a day and multiplying every day. So today you're losing 100 times purchasing power. Tomorrow you're losing 200 times purchasing power. The next day you're losing 400 times purchasing power. Yes, the stock market in Venezuela might go up, and now next month you're making 1,000% a day in the Venezuelan stock market. Sounds great, right? You started with 6 Bolivian, and now you got 6 trillion Bolivian. Well, the only problem is the value of that dollar, or your Bolivians, when you sell it, is losing 1,000,000% a day. They're using it as toilet paper. You can't buy products with it because you need $1 trillion, 1 trillion Bolivians, to buy one slice of bread now, right? You're fucked. And that's what's going to go on. That's your two choices you got in the U.S. Either they just let this shit roll over on itself and interest rates soar, right, from 0 to 5 or 10%, and 10-year treasuries are sitting at 10 or 15%, right? And they let this thing restructure. Yeah, it's going to be a disaster. And a lot of people are going to go broke, lose their jobs, homeless, and all this shit. But on the flip side, as the decades go on, you might have a harsh decade or a decade and a half, but at least your children will have a solid fundamental start with a growing economy that's based on savings and production, and we start producing things to support our consumption, right? And we become more of a production-based society instead of a consumption-based society, right? And they'll have a solid 30-year outlook of strong growth, strong dollar growth, so meaning purchasing power of the dollar will go up, which means their standard of living will rise considerably, and their hours and time they got to spend to make money will go down, and they have more time for leisure. Unlike what we have now, we have no time for leisure. We have excessive work hours because we need them, or we can't pay the bills and save money, right? We're getting fucking fleece heisted and shysted. And that brings me to my next point. Let me think. I just lost train of thought though when I started with the Dow. That brings me to my next point with Bitcoin. Let's put the Bitcoin in the background. All you Bitcoin hodlers and Bitcoin maximalists and Bitcoin laser beam eyes, and Bitcoin's going to $1 trillion, and it's going to take over the gold market cap and the world's reserve market cap. You guys are just as brainwashed as the people that believe Janet Yellen, the communist, the Fed chairman Jerome Powell, a socialist, or President Joe Biden, a communist, or anybody else in the federal government, even former President Trump, a big government socialist, that thinks the Fed can just print money and it don't matter, and the debt doesn't have anything to do with it because interest rates are low and everything's rosy and great. If you're one of those people, and you're one of the people on the other side with the laser beam eyes and think Bitcoin's going to take over the world's reserve currency, you're fucking nuts. And you're going to get fleece heisted and shysted worse than these people that are holding dollars. Because at least they got dollars. At least there's something to them because you can buy things and you can pay taxes with them. So they have a slight intrinsic value. Bitcoin and all these cryptos have zero, none, nada, nothing. And if you're holding these as a long-term laser beam eye where you believe wholeheartedly it's going to take over the world's reserve currency in a cashless society, which, yes, is coming, that is true, But if you think it's going to be Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum or XRP or any of these other fucking Cumcoin, Quant, Zill, any of this other junk and garbage that I believe is junk and garbage, you might believe it's gold. I do not believe it's gold. That's why they don't call it the crypto standard or the XRP standard or the Cum standard or the Quanta standard. Anytime you hear anything that means anything in advertising or anything, this is the fucking gold standard, right? You're out on the water and they see a sexy boat come out. They don't say that's the crypto standard boat. They say that's the goddamn gold standard, right? If you want them to know your company's good, we're the gold standard, right? Not the crypto standard. Because if you're under the false illusion that it's taking over the monetary policy in a cashless society, you're going to go bankrupt because you're holding nothing but nothing. You're going to be bankrupt. You're fucked, right? Because when there is, yes, a cashless society, the governments around the world, independently with their own Fed and central bank. Hold on a second. Thank you. Have a good one.
You have your badge on you?
I do.
Just make sure you badge in next time, that's all.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. We never used to have to do it.
It's okay, you're good.
Badge is right there. Thank you. And if the central banks around the world, whatever they're, like in the United States, the Federal Reserve is our central bank. They're going to make their own coin. They will use, yes, a blockchain technology, but it's not going to be any of the coins that you own. They've stolen and they've gotten the technology now. It's out there. They can come up with their own blockchain system, and then they can run their own. In the United States, for example, they're going to have Fed dollar or Fed coin, Fed dollar coin, right? They're going to come up with their own Fed dollar coin and have a cashless society. It's not going to be with any crypto that you currently own. And if that's the only reason you own it and you true-heartedly believe that Bitcoin or XRP or any of this other shit is going to have anything to do with the world reserve currency, you're out of your mind, you're delusional, and you've been fleeced, heisted, and shysted because your educational level is subpar, and the people that have fleeced, heisted, and shysted you have a superior knowledge about money, a superior knowledge about central banking, and a superior knowledge about what the central bankers are actually doing right now, and they're setting the stage and making it acceptable for a cashless society. And when they're ready and their system is ready to be implemented, they will implement a regional by region, a cashless society. And the European Union, it'll be the ECM, whatever their bank is, ECMB or whatever the fuck they call the European Central Banking System, the counterpart to the Federal Reserve in the United States, right? They'll have their own European Fed coin or European Central Bank coin. The Bank of England, their central bank in England, will have the Bank of England coin, right? And all these other coins that you're speculating on that you think they're going to go down to nothing, right? Because you're going to see now that there's nothing there. The governments around the world did, yes, true, go cashless, like VINCENZO'S Gold Crypto Investing has been telling you. But no, they did not use any of these cryptos that are out there because that's not what's going on. That does the government a disservice if they use Bitcoin as the world's reserve currency, because technically there's a finite supply, even though really there's not, because you can just create new Bitcoins, right? Like a gold bar, you can't create new gold. There's nothing else that can be like gold. That's why it's the gold standard, right? Silver, there's nothing else that can be like silver, right? But the governments, it would be a disservice if they use Bitcoin that has 80 million of them. That would technically have to keep a somewhat of a more honest system to where they can't just print money out of a printing press and mail it to anybody they want. So they're not going to do that. But if they have Fed dollars and Fed coin, now they can hide all their theft, hide all their thievery, hide all their criminal activities that the governments do on a day-to-day basis with Fed dollar. Because now nobody can track it. Nobody sees it except the Fed. They can create it and take it away at will. And this goes for the European banks, the Bank of England, the Australian Central Bank, all these, the Canadian Central Bank. That's what they're going to do. So they say old Vincenzo, they don't like what old Vincenzo's saying on YouTube, and we have a cashless society. Here's the problem with it, and the moral hazard and the draconian hazard is they can say, we don't like old Vincenzo. Check China out. They're starting to talk about and they're implementing this. We don't like what you're saying and doing. Therefore, we're not going to give you access to your digital wallet, your digital Fed dollar, to have purchasing power at the grocery store. We're going to limit you from doing that. We're not going to allow you to do that. Or right now, you're on punishment until you come around to our way of thinking. You're only allowed to buy a small amount of food and just enough to go to work to pay high taxes. But if you want to buy a TV, we're going to deny that purchase, right? If you want to buy a car, we're going to deny that purchase. If you want to buy any luxury item, vacation, outside dinner, anything, we're going to deny that purchase until you come around to our line of thinking, right? That's your moral hazard and authoritarian problem that you're going to have when you give your freedom, your financial freedom up to the government, right? They're going to be in control of what you do now, fully. That's why they're not going to use any of these Bitcoins or cryptos. And you guys, the quicker you understand that, the better off you're going to be. More big major updates to come on Bitcoin today. We're going to have some fireworks going on as the weekend gets closer tomorrow and the futures market closes. I think we're going to have a fiery weekend. Maybe a quick pump to start and then a massive dump, or a massive dump to start and then a quick pump before another massive dump. Like, subscribe, and share.